obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you for joining and giving your wonderful session this morning. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashomati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago. And thank you so much, Vardhana Mataji. Very beautiful recitation for Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving your beautiful association every single day. Welcome to the call, Mataji. All glories to your services. Hare Krishna.
All glories to Vardhana Mataji's services too. And
Jai.
yours.
Mataji, are you starting the recording?
Yes, Mataji. Wait, one second. I have to stop. I did it on my cloud. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you all for this mid-morning session. Thank you all for joining. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. So far as your working engagement is concerned, certainly you are not a karmi. Any person whose constant occupation is Krishna consciousness is not a karmi. He is a devotee in all circumstances. You should accept the best source of monetary income and use it for Krishna. That is better than Sangha. Stick to your job and use it for Krishna consciousness. You are not a karmi. Letter to Gopal Krishna, April 4th, 1971, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda 23.101 verses onwards. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you for giving your valuable time and association this morning. Very happy to have you on the call. Waiting eagerly to hear from you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Please take over, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shivani Mataji, for your beautiful and warm welcome. And thank you so much, Vardhana Mataji, for the wonderful recitation. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us in this session of Caitanya Bhagavat. So we will continue our Caitanya Bhagavat, but before that, we will recite Mangalacharan prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभदिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावधातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ जयति जयति देवा कृष्णचैतन्यचन्द्रो जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्यपवित्रा जयति जयति भृत्यास्तस्य विश्वेश्वमूर्ते जयति जयति नृत्यां तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम् Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for your wonderful association. Your association is the great savior for all of us, especially for me, because we need some devotees' association in order to progress on the path of bhakti. So thank you, really grateful to each and every one of you for giving your wonderful association, though it's an online association. But really grateful to each and every one of you. And I request all of you to please shower your blessings so that I can speak something relevant to this subject matter in glorification of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, written by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, and of course in the purification of my own self. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाए, शिला प्रभुपाद की जाए, all the Guru Vargas की जाए, all the assembled Vaishnavas की जाए. Okay, so we are in the section of Caitanya Bhagavat, which is Madhya Khanda, chapter 23. Chapter entitled is Wanderings About Navadvip on the day the Lord delivered the Qazi. So up till now, we have not come to this context of this Qazi, Chand Qazi, but today we will touch upon this subject. But let's do a small recap what we have understood in this entire chapter. So this chapter begins with Mahaprabhu's nocturnal kirtan that he did in Srivas Angan. And there we saw that how a milk-drinking brahmachari requested Srivas Thakur to allow him to enter into that courtyard, and so that he can witness, he can see Mahaprabhu dancing. Srivas Thakur, being so compassionate, he is Narad Muni, he always brings the jivas closer to the Supreme Lord. And he allowed this milk brahmachari to witness, but he told him that you should not come amidst all the associates, rather stay behind and just watch. Mahaprabhu started his nocturnal kirtan, started dancing, but didn't feel any ecstasy. And then he could understand that there is someone in this room who is not supposed to be there. Srivas admitted that yes, this is a milk drinking brahmachari who is very austere, and he requested, so he allowed. Mahaprabhu got super angry, and Mahaprabhu said, no, this is not the right way. And he explained that what is the right austerity? The right austerity is to be done for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. Any austerity done for our name, fame, or for some kind of motive, then that austerity is not recommended in the scriptures. Finally, milk-drinking brahmachari understood what fault he has, and Mahaprabhu blessed him and told him that that's okay. He understood. He was actually impersonalist, but seeing now Mahaprabhu and got the chastisement from Mahaprabhu, he became very devoted to Sriman Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu allowed him. He said, okay, now I can allow you. From here onwards, you can participate in the nocturnal kirtan. After that, there were a lot of Navadvip Vasis who had this complaint that why Mahaprabhu always performed this Sankirtan behind closed doors, and they are unable to see Lord's Sankirtan pastimes. So there were many atheists who got against Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, blaming Mahaprabhu that we don't know what he's doing behind those closed doors. But there were a lot of other devotees who were really hankering to see Mahaprabhu, seeing Mahaprabhu's dancing in Sankirtan. And they would always stood in front in the road, they will stood on the road in front of Srivas Thakur. And as Mahaprabhu will walk through, they will just praise Mahaprabhu, they will offer their obeisances. And during that one of that pastimes also, it happened that when they offered their obeisances to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, they got lot of gifts along with them. And when they offered their obeisances, Mahaprabhu blessed them. He said, may you attain devotional service to Krishna. And then he also instructed them that you should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So in this chapter, it's the second time that Mahaprabhu revealed this mantra from his lotus mouth, that you should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And following the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees, those who were very favorable to Mahaprabhu, they followed the instructions. They took their kartals, mridangas, and they engaged themselves in chanting Krishna Nam. Yes, now we have two sets of people in Navadvip. One set is, of course, some chat message. Okay. So one set was who were atheists, who were against Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but there were some devotees who agreed to, that they should be able to follow the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I know I'm a little distracted because I'm struggling to share my screen. So, yeah, so the point is there were some devotees who were very, very keen and very, very ardent towards the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them that you should take kartals, mridangas, and you should perform Sankirtan, they accepted the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the other atheist class of devotees were there who were always fault finding and somehow speculating, imagining that there is something wrong that is going on in the house of Srivas Thakur, and they were always against Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this was the 100th verse that we have already completed on Thursday, that is yesterday, that in this way the atheist always criticized, while the inhabitants of Navadvip daily sang the glories of Krishna. So this was going on, and now we will see what happens. Text 101. Ekadena Devekaji sei patha jaya mridanga mandira shankha shuni bare paya. So one day, Ekadena, by Daivi means by the will of the providence. So everything is sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. So one day by providence, the Qazi, he walked down that road and heard the sound of mridangas, kartals and conch shells, because there were some set of devotees who engaged in this Sankirtan. Text 102. Hari Nama Kolahal Chaturdikhe Matra Shuniya Sanare Kaji Apanara Shastra. And when the Kazi heard the loud vibration of Lord's holy names in the four directions, he immediately remembered his own scriptures. So hearing the Lord holy names, it's such an auspicious thing. Definitely, though Kazi will be behaving that he doesn't like it, but the holy name has already worked. So we know that how holy name can work in any way one hears or chants the holy name. But the holy name will work. It's just like a medicine Prabhupada will always give. Whether you have faith in medicine or you don't have faith in medicine, when the medicine goes in our mouth and it goes in our stomach, it works. Better to have medicine with faith, then of course it will work nicely. But even if we don't have faith, we just take it because the doctor prescribed that medicine, the medicine works. Similarly, the chanting of holy name, whether we like it, we don't like it. If we happen to hear it or we happen to chant it, it's going to work. Sanketam parihasam va stobam helanam cha vaikunta namagraham ashesha saga haram vidu. Canto 6 describes that one who chants the holy name, one who hears the holy name of the Lord, is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. Even if somebody chants it jokingly, or just for some musical entertainment, or even neglectfully, but still it is very, very powerful. And the residents of India, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes, the residents of India engage in worship of the Lord by following certain rules and regulations prescribed in the Shrutis, Smritis, Puranas, and Pancharatras. In that system, the hearing and the playing of musical instruments is included. Since sinful people consider the form of the Supreme Lord equal to the enjoyable forms of the material world, that they are so impersonalist that they don't even consider that the Supreme Lord is a person. They think that, okay, we are also God, Supreme Lord is also God, and one day we will also become God. And because they equate the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord to be the enjoyment of the material world, they think that the vibration of sounds and musical instruments are actually the impediments to the service of the Supreme Lord. So that is their thought process, that they somehow worship the Supreme Lord in just following some Shrutis, Smritis, Puranas, and Pancharatras. So I'll just tell you about my own personal experience also, that we have also been brought up in the same culture where there is no way where we can dance or we can sing loudly. The normal culture is that you sit down, you do nicely your puja, you offer this incense lamb to 33 million demigods, everybody, you try to please everybody, you do some puja, you read some scriptures, but it should be done in a very peaceful manner. But after coming into Krishna consciousness, the entire perspective changed. The ananyata, the wholeheartedness towards our East, Shri Radha and Krishna developed. And then we came to know that how important it is to dance in front of the Supreme Lord. So and so that even Srila Rupa Goswami, in his 64 limbs of devotional service, he mentions one of the important limb is to dance in front of the deities. So how can these sounds, the sounds of musical instruments, can be the impediment in the service of the Supreme Lord? So when people renounce things related to Hari, thinking them to be material, then they consider activities favorable to the service of Hari as unfavorable to the worship of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, because of the misuse of renunciation, the utility of the musical instruments for the service of the Supreme Lord is not acceptable to some people. And this is what is known as Falgu Vairagya. So this is what is Falgu Vairagya. So Prabhupada, or false renunciation. So the idea is that we have to understand that what is Vairagya. Vairagya is renunciation, that we have to renounce. But what we have to renounce and what we have to accept, that is the point that we have to understand very carefully. So again, referring to Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he gives the beautiful definition of Yukta Vairagya. That is, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yathartham Upayanjita Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagya Muchyate. Anything that is used in the service of Krishna, anything that can be utilized, that is what is Yukta Vairagya. Why it is known as Yukta Vairagya? Because it is used in the service of Krishna. At the same time, the living entity or the jiva who is using that is not attached to that. So normal the example is given that what if we buy a big luxurious car or we have a big mansion for us, of course you can have it, provided you use it in Krishna service. But that cannot become a point where we think that, okay, if I can use it for Krishna service, so I can go beyond my capacity and go ahead and fulfill my sense gratification and then name it as Yukta Vairagya. Well, that should not be the case. Vairagya means having all those things, but at the same time having detachment. Because it is Krishna's, it should be used in Krishna's service. So I'm nowhere where I can claim my ownership on all those things. So Prabhupada normally says that we use so many machines like typewriters, dictating machines, tape recorders, microphones, and even he used airplanes. So some people will ask that why, how? One side you will say that we want to condemn the advancement of material civilization, and on the other hand we are using it. So Prabhupada will always say that actually we use it in Krishna's service. So we are not against the material or the advancement of material civilization, but we are against for taking it for one's own sense gratification. So Yukta Vairagya is that whatever abilities we have, we should use in Krishna's service. Again in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna advised Arjuna, you should utilize your fighting abilities. Mamanusmaranam yuddhacha. Yes, you are a warrior, you are a Kshatriya, you have to fight. So use this fighting abilities also, but remembering me in for the pleasure of me, in devotional service to me. So this is what is Yukta Vairagya. On the other hand, the Falgu Vairagya is Prapanchikate Buddhya Hari Sambandha Vastuna Mumukshu Vi Parityago Vairagyam Falgu Katyate. What is the Falgu Vairagya? Where we have this Prapanchika Buddhya, we have this false thought process in our heart that whatever can be used Hari Sambandha Vastuna, whatever can be used for Hari, can be used for the pleasure of the Supreme God, we renounce it. Mumukshe parityago. We renounce it. But this is Falgu Vairagya. Because this renunciation is false renunciation. Because there's a river actually. Falgu is a river. And that river is that it is covered with the sand, the bed of sand. So when you dig that river, that sand, that area, you will find the huge water. So what it is simply covered. Similarly, those who get into this Falgu Vairagya, they don't have the right understanding. They just superficially prove that they are very renounced, but actually they are not. You dig them little bit and you provoke them, you expose them to some things of this material world, and immediately their senses will become active. So what is the use of this Falgu Vairagya? This is false renunciation. So Prabhupada Saraswati writes that one must give up musical instruments that intoxicate a living entity and distract him from the service of the supreme absolute truth. So yes, any instrument, if it is so intoxicating that we are simply focusing on the musical instruments and not Harinam, then yes, because it is not used in the service of the absolute truth, it can be renounced. But otherwise, all these musical instruments are included even as per Shruti, Smriti, Puranas and Pancharatras. But any conceptions which is devoid of proper understanding cannot be acceptable as favorable to the service of the Supreme Lord. So the bottom line is that when Kazi heard the loud vibration of the Lord's holy name, he could make out that all this is wrong. काजी बले धरा धरा आजी करो कार्य आजी व्यकई करे तोरा निमाए acharya. And in the challenging voice he said, catch him, catch them, catch them, catch them, dhara dhara, dhar lo unko, just hold on to them and I will take action today. Then he says, Aji ki ve khare tora Nimai Acharya, and then I will see what your teacher Nimai does. Because your Nimai is a teacher. He only taught you to perform this Sankirtan with this loud music, with loud instruments, and perform Sankirtan of holy names. Now I will tell this Nimai, I will see what your teacher does. I am going to hold on to you and I am going to punish you. अथयथे पाइलेला नगरिया गण महात्रासे कैसा खेहा न करे बंधन. The people of the town, they quickly ran away. The townspeople, they quickly ran away. And Mahatrase, and they were so furious. They were so, They were so fearful of Kazi that they were running hither and thither so that they don't come in contact with this Kazi. And out of fear, Mahatrase, out of fear, they forgot to even tie up their hair. Kesha keha na kare bandhana. The point here is to understand that they were forgetful of their own body and they were just running here and there to save themselves. जहाँ रे पाइला काजी मारिला था हारे भंगीला मृदंगा आना चारा कैला द्वारे. And the Qazi bet over whoever he caught. He would just beat him mercilessly. He broke the mridangas, Bhangila mridanga. He broke the mridangas and created havoc at that place. Now, this is such a great, sinful, heinous aparad. It's not even a pop, it's an aparad, because mridanga, harmonium, or kartals, or anything that is used in the service of Krishna is actually Balaram Tattva. So how can we think of even progressing in our material life? Forget about spiritual life. How can we think of even progressing in our material things when we have offended Lord Balaram? काजी बोले हिंदू यानी हाइला नदिया करीमु ihara shashti nagali paiya. The Qazi said the entire Nadia has been overrun by the Hindus. Of course, this Qazi was from the Muslim background. And now he's saying Hinduani haila Nadia. This entire Nadia has been filled with Hindus. When I will catch them, Karimu ihara shashti nagili. I'll shashti man pe shashan karunga. Means I will punish them. Again, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes, since the Shrutis, Smritis, Puranas and Pancharatras prescribe activities like worshipping the Lords and chanting his names, the sinful atheist considered such activity as parts of Hindu culture. The staunch belief of those sinful people was that of uprooting the Vedic principles and establishing a new religion, their prestige, and that religion should be maintained. Such an important point that Saraswati Thakur is explaining in this purport, that to destroy any culture of any religion, the best is to uproot their education system. So we all know this, that how our India, Bharatvarsha, was a very, very, very rich in spiritual culture. But when these Britishers came and they want to rule over India, the very first thing they did was to break the education system. Because the education system of India, the Vedic education that Indians were following, was first class. There was full of morality. There was no cheating. There was no telling lies. They were all God conscious. But when these Britishers came, they attacked our education system. They brought their own education and they condemned our Vedic education. And from there, when this education was overruled by their own education, the downfall of Indians started. So here also Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is saying that these Muslims, they have come over and they have started propagating their own culture of impersonalism, where some Hindus also became atheist. And how they did it? They did this by uprooting the Vedic principles and establishing their own religion just for their prestige. Therefore, they disturbed the inhabitants of Navdvip who faithfully engaged in Kirtan by indiscriminately arresting them, punishing them, beating them. They beat some of them and indulge in activities which is opposed to the proper codes of conduct which is prescribed in the Shastras by breaking musical instruments. So when they have their own things, then they don't follow any Shastras or any Smritis or any code of conduct. They work whimsically as per their own speculation. And the plan of the sinful atheist was to uproot the social, natural, and the spiritual rules and regulations of the various persons and inaugurate their own rules and regulations. So, this is what has brought the entire Indians into slavery. Why? Because their education system was attacked. So, in this regard, also, I was thinking that how in Chaitanya Charitamrita there is a section that comes of one person who was uh, he was actually, I don't want to go into great detail, but he was actually one of the Nawab was serving under him. So his name is Subuddhi Rai, and I'm pretty sure many of you know about this, that how this one of the king, not king, but he was Hussain Khan, who was working under Subuddhi Roy. And once what happened that Subuddhi Roy punished him and he whipped him, and later, again by the will of the providence, this Hussain Khan, he became the king. And when he became the king, he told his wife about the story of Subuddhi Roy. But because this king was working once under Subuddhi Roy, he still has that great what do you say, respect for Subuddhi Roy. But this wife of Hussain Shah, she told that no, how can you forget about what he has done to you? He has whipped you mercilessly. So you should also do something to may punish him to death. And Hussain Shah said, no, this is not possible because I cannot forget what he has done to me, because he did lot of favors also to me, so I cannot forget. And then she said, okay, if you cannot kill him, then at least bring his caste down. Means you can break his caste or you can convert him to Muslim. But then this king said, no, this is also not good because this is equivalent to killing somebody. But finally, what to do? He was obliged to his wife, and finally, what he did, he gave water to Subudhi Rai to drink. Now, according to Hindus' rules at that time was that if somebody drinks the water from the hand of a Muslim person, then they lose their caste status. So that was the, what do you say, the rules at that time. Now, Subudhi Rai, everybody start condemning him that no, you have lost your caste and we cannot allow you to mingle with all of us. We are Brahmanas, we are this, and you should now practically leave your body. Now, the Subudhi Roy, he was thinking now what to do. So he asked some Brahmanas, some peoples, that how I can get back my caste status. And then they said that the only way you can get is that you should commit suicide by drinking boiling ghee. So the point is, they said that you have to die because now there is no way that we can welcome you. This Subudhi Roy, he became very upset, and we know the rest of the pastime that how he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, he went to Varanasi and he met Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu said, don't worry about all this. This is all concocted things that these people are offering to you. So no need to give up your life. It's a human form of life which is very precious, and you cannot just leave it or you cannot just give it away. So you please chant the holy names of Krishna, go to Vrindavan, and this name of Krishna only will give you all the protection. So this way we see that how these atheists, these so-called the Brahmanas who call themselves Brahmanas, they also have been uprooted with their social, natural, and spiritual rules and regulations. And they inaugurate their own rules that just by drinking water from a Muslim person from his hand, how can one can lose its caste system so and so that one has to leave his body. Now, this is too much. So therefore, our Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is warning that don't go into all these so-called speculations. We should understand that our aim of human form of life is only to please Krishna and to perform bhakti. So when they saw in the dealings of Sri Gaurasundar the re-establishment of religious principles for which Gaurasundar came, described in the Vedas, they got the opportunity to stop that because they were administrators, and so they have the power and they can do anything, and they got opportunity to suppress the citizens also in the name of religion. So now our Kazi, now he's telling, क्षमा करी या ना आजी दैवे हाइला राती आरा देना लागा लिपाई lalai bajati. So he has caught some of the people, some of the devotees who were engaged in Sankirtan. He mercilessly beat them, and now he's saying, it is night now. It's Haila Rati. Rati means it's night now. So Shama Kari. So I will excuse you today. So he broke their mridangas, he broke their instruments, he punished them, and now he's saying, I'm excusing you. But if I catch you again, means again, if you have been seen, you have been caught engaged in Sankirtan, then I will take your caste, means I will convert you to Muslim. I'll force you to leave your caste. So, chanting and playing instruments in observance to the eternal religious principles, which is inaugurated by Sri Gaurasundar, offered a great opportunity for the sinful atheist to attack. And the Qazi said that if he got another excuse, he would forcibly change the social standing of the Nadia residents by converting them to his own religion. So this is how they do. They just convert people to their own religion. Now, of course, this is not right, but the system was such. And some people start following these Qazi because of the power that Qazi has, and because, of course, our education system was destroyed. E mata pratidina dushtagana laingara. No. E mata pratidina dushtagana laiya nagaraha brahma ekaji kirtana chaiya. And in this way, the Qazi and all his sinful followers which daily wandered about the town looking for a kirtan. So in one sense, they were doing good, means they were looking at who is doing kirtan, but instead of joining the kirtan, they were throwing lot of austerities on these people. So dukhe sabha nagariya thake lukaiya Hindu gane kaji sabha mara kathariya. Now in distress, dukhe sabha nagariya, all these people of this Nadia, they were so in distress, thake lokaiya, and therefore they remained hidden. And Hindu gane kaji sabha mara kathariya, mare kadarithya. While the Qazi, he went about beating and chastising Hindus. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes that inhabitants of Navdvip were forced to stop this playing musical instruments in Kirtan because of the Qazi's suppression, because Qazi threatened them that tomorrow again if I see you, you will be taken to task. Yet the devotees didn't stop. They continued to do so in secret. So this is how the devotees, they have full faith on Krishna, and they just don't want to let go anything by just some threatening. They continued to do so, but now lukaya, chup chup ke karte the. So when the help of sinful townspeople who were envious of the devotees, the Qazi began to wander around searching for those engaged in Kirtan, and whenever he found them, he would abuse and beat them. Keha bali hari nama lai ba mane mane huda hudi bali ache khonava purane. On all these atheist people, they may be Hindus only, but they've been converted or they've been condemned of their caste, or they have come under the power of those Muslim people, that they also started saying, they say that one should chant the name of Hari in one's mind. Which Purana? Huda Hudi Baliyache Konava Purana, means in what Puran it has been recommended that you should chant with lot of music, instruments, boisterous chanting. Huda Hudi. Means they said that who told you to be so noisy, to be rowdy? Boisterous means to be rowdy. So who told you, in which Puran it is written that the Kirtan can only be noisy and rowdy? If you want to chant the name of Hari, chant in your name, but don't be so aggressive by using all these instruments and being so noisy. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes, to obstruct preaching of the Supreme Lord's topics, the atheist so-called Hindus, so see, they are so-called Hindus only, they took the side of the Qazi and they took advantage of the Shastric descriptions of solitary worship and the philosophy of impersonalism to introduce the process of chanting the name of Hari within the mind. They introduced foolish arguments such as no Shastras recommend loud chanting of Harinam or the performance of Harinam Sankirtan accompanied by dancing and musical instrument. Whom to blame now? Our own so-called Hindus, they are against us because they have taken the side of these Kazis. So this is what happens when there is no unity, then definitely that's the philosophy. They have this philosophy. All the Britishers, when they came, they have this one motto only. Divide and rule. That was there. That divide all these people. There should be no unity. Because if the unity is there, it will be very difficult to break them. But if we divide them, then it's easy. Like Prabhupada always says that if you have a single stick, it's easy to break. But if all the sticks are together and they're bound with some ropes, then it is very hard to break them. So therefore, their motto was to divide and then rule. And that's what they did. लंघिले वे देरा वाक्य ए षष्टि हाया जाति करिया ओ गुलारा नहीं भाया. Now this is the punishment for one who transgresses the Vedic injunctions. These fellows are not even concerned about their caste because these fellows have been now the sold out servants for all these Muslim people. So ignorant people thought, since foolish people do not know the hymns of Samved, they do not glorify the Vedic literatures and have subsequently introduced the unauthorized process of chanting loudly and playing instruments. Because these devotees have such conceptions and transgress the Vedas, they are fit to be punished like this at the hands of the atheist. In other words, because they have introduced the activities which are prohibited in the Vedas, they have proven that they are not afraid of losing their caste or protecting their social standing. So this was the these are the words of all those atheists who say that because they are not following this Vedic principle, definitely they are supposed to be taken to task. Nimai pandita ye kare na ahankare, sab churna hai beke kajira dware. Now they said that Nimai Pandit's pride, all these atheists, they are talking, that now Nimai Pandit's pride will be completely smashed by the Qazi. Because if the scriptural injunctions, conclusions introduced by Nimai Pandit are defeated by the Qazi, then of course his pride will be smashed to pieces. Keep making plans. Man proposes, God disposes. नगरे नगरे ये भूले ना नित्यानंदा देखा तारा कौन दीना बाहिराय रंगा. And now they started even condemning this Nityananda Prabhu. They are saying this Nityananda Prabhu, his roaming is freely wandering around Nagara Nagare. But his happiness will also come to an end now because Kazi will punish him too. When he one day will receive appropriate punishment, then his Nagar Sankirtan will also stop and his happiness will also come to an end. So these are the plans that have been made by the atheist. But we know that man can think whatever they want, but ultimately whatever Krishna desires will happen. उचिता बलिता है अमर पशंडा धन्य नदिया एता उपजिला भंडा. Uchila balitehi amara pashanda. All these people, all these devotees, they call us atheists for speaking the truth. We are speaking the truth. We are speaking through Shruti Smriti Pancharatras only. Or glories to Nadia, Dhanya Nadiaya, where all this entire Nadia is being filled by Upajila Bhanda, is being filled by people who are so hypocrite. भाई के हा किछु नाही करे प्रत्युत्तर प्रभु स्थाने घीवा सबे खरणे गच्छरा. But these devotees, they didn't retaliate. They didn't say anything in reply. They simply went to the Lord and explained everything to him. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes that when we try to explain the process of Harinam Kirtan introduced by Gaura Nityananda is not sanctioned by the Vedas, ordinary foolish people call us atheist, devoid of scriptural knowledge. Therefore, the new path is introduced by these dharmadvajis or these religious imposters. Dharmadvajis are those who are religious imposters. They are simply in the cheating business. Without replying to the imprudent atheist inhabitants, the devotees, they didn't say anything. They didn't retaliate, and they simply went to Mahaprabhu and explained the situation, that how they have been unfairly tortured and treated. काजीरा भये ते आरा न करी कीर्तन प्रतिदिन भूले लाई सहारे खजाना नवद्वीप छाड़ी आई बे अन्य स्थाने गोचरीला ए दुई तोमारा चराने. So out of fear of Kazi, we do not perform kirtan anymore. So all these people, they went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they put forward their complaint. They are saying that because of the fear of Kazi, now we don't want to perform kirtan anymore. This Kazi, he is wandering about the thousands of followers, and we will leave Navadvip and go somewhere else. So now these are the two concerns that we have, and we are putting this forward at your lotus feet. So what were the two things? That we don't want to perform kirtan anymore. And secondly, that even if we want to perform, we will leave Navadvip and go somewhere else where this atrocities of Kazi is not thrown on us. So we see that how these devotees, they have been following Trinadapi Sunichena principle, where Mahaprabhu himself establishes in Shikshashtakam that one should be humble than a blade of grass and one should be tolerant than a tree. And therefore, they didn't even retaliate to all these atheist people. If they want, they would have done it. But they didn't do it. Rather, they just came forward in a very peaceful manner and they presented their problems in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. कीर्तनेरा वादा सुनी प्रभुर विश्वंभर क्रोधे हाई लेना प्रभु रुद्रा मूर्ति धारा. So now when Vishwambar, our Lord Chaitanya, he heard that how Kazi is throwing these atrocities on the people of Navadvip and is bringing impediments in performing Sankirtan, he became Rudra in his anger. होहंकारे खरे प्रभु सचिरानंदान कर्णधारी हरि भले Nagariya Gana. The son of Mother Shachi, Sachiranandana, he rode loudly, Honkara Kare. And the inhabitants, they covered their ears and they chanted the name of Hari. Why they covered their ears? Because they were very fearful that now Mahaprabhu has taken his Rudra Roop, so they don't know what's going to happen next. And Mahaprabhu was roaring like a lion. So they were covering their ears and they were simply chanting Hari, 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 because they don't know what will happen now. प्रभु बले नित्यानंदा हाओ सावधान ए क्षणे चला सभा वैष्णवर स्थान. And the Lord said, O Nityananda Prabhu, savdhan ho jao, means get ready. Quickly go to all the Vaishnavas and call them. सर्वनवद्वीपे आजी करी मुकीर्तन Dekho mora khona karma, khare khona jana. Today I will perform Kirtan throughout Navadvip. Call all the Vaishnavas. Oh Nityananda, go and call all the Vaishnavas. And today I will perform Sankirtan throughout Navadvip. Let me see who can do what to me. देखो आजी खाजीरा पड़न घर द्वारे खौन कर्मा करे देखो राजा न तहारे. Today we will burn the house of Kazi. Let me see what even king can do. So this is the challenge that Mahaprabhu put forward after hearing the complaints of Navadvip. Now, on one hand, we see that all these devotees, they didn't do anything, because it says that they simply accepted, right? They simply accepted. What's the verse? Yeah. Bhai kaya kichu nahi kare pratyuttara means they didn't even retaliate to the words of those atheists. They simply went to Mahaprabhu, presented their complaints, and they said it's better for us to leave that place. This is also one of the way of coming out from such situations. But this way is known as running away from the situation. But now, on the other hand, the same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave us the principle of Sahishuna, of tolerance, that we have to become Tarorapi Sahishuna, that we have to become tolerant like a tree, is now becoming so intolerant that he is saying that I want to do this Navadvip, Kirtan in this entire Navadvip, and let me see who is going to stop me. And today we will burn the house of Kazi, and let me see what even king can do to me. Let's see this verse again. Probably this can be the last verse, but let's see. प्रेमा भक्ति वृष्टे आजी करी विशाला पाषंडी गणेरा से हैबा आजी खाला. Now Mahaprabhu saying, today I will shower an incessant rain of pure devotional service, because Mahaprabhu himself will be doing this Nagar Sankirtan today. And today the atheist will face their ultimate fate, means they will be destroyed. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes a beautiful purport, and we will go line by line and try to understand that how on one hand Mahaprabhu is telling Tarorapi Shahishnuta, and on the other hand he himself is behaving in a Shahishnuta way, where he is becoming so angry. So Shri Gaura Sundar, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes, I need 5 more minutes of your attention span so that we can focus on this main point. Shri Gaura Sundar has instructed that one should have unlimited patience. Tarorapi Sahishana, unlimited patience we should have. Yet in anger, he personally assumed the form of Rudra and expressed a desire to destroy the houses of those who are opposed to Kirtan. Therefore, how can these two contradictory statements be reconciled? So many people may inquire like this. See, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is writing, the main principle in chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be favorably engaged in all the activities in the service of Krishna. To directly or indirectly support or participate in activities that are unfavorable to the service of Krishna is detrimental to the service of the Supreme Lord. So what is our param dharma? Savai pumsa paradharma bhaktir. It's adhokshaja, yato bhaktir adhokshaja. Ahituki apratihata, yayatma suprasidati. And that is our param dharma. What is our param dharma? To engage in the process of bhakti, but for what? Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Only for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the instruction to become lower than the straw in the street and to become tolerant like a tree that is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is given for the favorable cultivation of our Krishna consciousness. Okay. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishana. Yes, these two instructions are very important, and they have to be followed so that we can have the favorable cultivation of Krishna consciousness. The patience and the freedom from material designations meant to support activities that are unfavorable to devotional service are completely opposed to the process of chanting the holy names. Those who are resolute in supporting Namaprad certainly misuse this instruction to become lower than the straw in the street and more tolerant than a tree. Shri Gaura Sundar has given the instructions to become lower than a straw in the street and more tolerant than a tree to reveal that this misuse a type of unfavorable condition and to encourage the full cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So what does it mean is that asahishnuta, that should also be cultivated. Yes, on one hand, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is saying, and even Mahaprabhu says, that we have to be tolerant like a tree. But asahishnuta, intolerance or impatience is also needed when somebody try to suppress us in performing this bhakti yoga process. So we know that, again, coming back to our Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where even Srila Rupa Goswami, when he's mentioning 64 limbs of devotional service, one of the limb, he says, Ahishnashta. Asahishnata means Krishna Tad Bhakta Vinitdadi Asahishnata means when somebody sees that somebody is blaspheming Krishna or his bhaktas, then one should be very intolerant. It is one of the limb of devotional service. If it would have not been an important part of our bhakti process, why Srila Rupa Goswami would have added this as one of the limb of devotional service? Because it is very important. One should be very intolerant towards the blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna or his devotees. So, although to externally remain indifferent or to unfavorably cultivation appears like a favorable adjustment, the sinful mentality or ignorance of coverings the soul propensities revealed in such activities. In this regard, he is quoting this verse, and we will also see this verse, Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, verse number 17. So, again, I'll share this screen and we will see that what Mahaprabhu, what Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is telling us. So this is the verse, 4.4.17. Karnau pidaya niratyat akalpa ishe dharma vitari arshnabhir nibrir ashamane chindyat prahasya prasaya rushatim asatim prabhuschej jihvam asun api tato vistrijeta dharma. Now this is Sati. We know about this Sati who came to the house of his father Daksha without taking permission of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva didn't allow her, but finally she came. And when she saw that how Lord Shiva is being blasphemed in that assembly, he is not offered a seat, and she herself was not treated well by Daksha and all the family members, she said, if one hears an irresponsible person blaspheme the master and controller of religion, one should block his ears and go away if unable to punish him. So this is the first way. If we hear any blasphemy, one should block one's ears and should be able, if we are unable to punish that person, we should block. But if one is able to kill, then one should by force cut the blasphemous tongue and kill the offender, and after that one should give up one's life and should commit suicide. But Prabhupada, he says that both the things are not possible. So the best way is that you should leave that place. So our Sati, what she did is that she also gave up her life, we all know. But this is again from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 74, where he says, Nindam Bhagavata Shrunvam Stat Parasya Janasyava Tato Naipati Na Yasopi Yati Adha Sukrit Achyutaha. Anyone who fails to immediately leave the place where he hears criticism of the Supreme Lord or his faithful devotee, will certainly fall down bereft of his pious credit. So Prabhupada always says that whenever you hear that criticism of the Supreme Lord or Krishna, either have the capability to fight. If you cannot, then yadgatva na nivartante. Then leave that place, making n number of excuses and never return back. So this is what even our Mahaprabhu is doing, and our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is telling this in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that how Mahaprabhu became so angry and he thought that now this is the time I am going to burn the house of Kazi, which is actually okay. If one hears any irresponsible person, so this is just we did it. So otherwise one will be bereft of one's devotional service. So while displaying his anger and desire for revenge, Shri Gaurasundara simultaneously declared, Today I will shower an incessant rain of pure devotional service that will act like Yamaraj, death personified, for the atheist. Innumerable varieties of realization, such as found in verses like, of course, this verse, they are possibly only present in Krishna, means where we can have different rasas. But the point is that asahishnuta, one should be able to intolerate any situation that is averse to bhakti, where the devotees go to an extent to blaspheme Krishna and his pure devotees. So one should give up one's life, and if not, then at least leave that place so that we don't become the recipient of hearing that blasphemy, because that is going to bring our spiritual progress down. So we will be bereft of all the things. We will be bereft of the pure devotional service. So this way, Mahaprabhu will stop here. It's already 12:02. So we will continue from text 124 on Monday onwards, where we will see that how Mahaprabhu, in that anger, he is gathering all the Vaishnavas and he marched down to the house of Kazi just to explain him, and see how beautifully Mahaprabhu himself is saying that today I will shower an incessant rain of devotional service. So imagine when Mahaprabhu is doing kirtan, what else we need? How much benefit all the Navadvip Vasis will get when they will hear directly from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. And Mahaprabhu will be singing and giving the holy name to everybody. So in turn, we'll see that everybody will get benefit because the holy name will enter into their ears. But at the same time, Mahaprabhu is supremely angry with Kazi, who is stopping all these devotees to perform Sankirtan and breaking their mridangas, kartals. So we'll stop here. Thank you so much for your patient listening. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai, all the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you so much for a very, very beautiful class. You explained all the words so wonderfully and in such depth and details. And thank you for quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam. As you said, if one chants the holy name, all their sins are eradicated. No matter if you're doing it in a joking way or like in a devotional service, then what about a sincere devotee who's always in remembrance and in the service of the Lordship? So there's no doubt that one may attain the highest abode of the Lordship. And this made me think of Putna. Like her intentions were not good, and she came in disguise to feed Krishna and kill him. But Krishna's mercy, I mean the Lord's mercy, is such that even he liberated her and gave her the highest abode. So I'm sure we, as sadhakas, we have um, uh,
Very high hopes.
very high hopes, yes, to get his mercy one day. Um,
Very
Also, Mataji, you spoke about the Yukta Vairagya, which is when we have anything materially we should use in the service of Krishna. But I'm sorry, I did not get understand the Palyug Vairagya mean. Please, can you
Falgu
explain?
Vairagya.
Yes, Mataji.
Falgu Vairagya is we artificially try to renounce things.
Okay.
That,
Oh, okay.
like all the Mayavadis and all those, like when Prabhupada was here, there were so many sannyasis who have come before Prabhupada. So one of the reporter, he came and he asked Prabhupada that how come you are taking all the money where the sannyasis, those have come before you, they were renouncing everything, that they don't want money, they don't want anything. So Prabhupada says, I don't mind taking money, and you can take a picture of me where I'll be embracing all the dollars. But then on one side, I will tell you that I'll use every penny in Krishna's service. So artificially renouncing everything, oh, a devotee should not have phone, devotees should not have gadgets. What is the use? The devotee should only chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is artificial renunciation, false renunciation, unnecessary renouncing. We are in this Kali Yuga, we need all these things, but we can make sure that we use all these things in the service of Krishna. So that is Falgu Vairagya. And in that regard, I was telling that there is a river also. The river's name is Falgu because that river is covered with that sand. So nobody knows that there is a river flowing underneath. But the moment you dig that sand, you will see. So this is false renunciation. That's
Thank you
what.
so much, Mataji, for explaining for me. I'm so sorry I missed it.
And that's okay.
Um, the other question I had, as you said, when someone is blaspheming Krishna or Guru Vargas or a devotee, we should be able to fight back or just leave that their presence. What
Hmm.
what do we do when it's family members, like very very close family members? Like it can be a parent, you
Yeah,
know.
so you cannot leave the place. You cannot fight back because they are your close relatives or they are your parents. And of course, committing suicide is out of the picture. So the best thing is try to leave that place or change the topic. Somehow don't bring in that topic where the family members get the chance to blaspheme Krishna. See, there are two things related to this. One is if we hear the blasphemy, definitely our spiritual progress will be ruined. Secondly, if we give them the chance to bring this topic of Krishna and unnecessary they blaspheme, then in whatever position they are, they will also come down from that position. So we don't want anything bad happening to other people, right? So in that way also we should be very very considerate, very very compassionate, that we should not bring up such topic where they become agitated or they speak something ill about Krishna. It's
Mataji,
hard.
I'm
Go
sorry. Go ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that it's hard when it is among family members, but somehow or other try not to bring the topic. When you know that they'll not accept it, don't bring that topic.
So when you said that our bhakti will be ruined, meaning we will have setbacks or it'll be totally gone.
Not totally gone as such because, but yeah, we will face some setbacks. Definitely, when we hear something bad, Mataji, of anybody, any devotee or any person, definitely our mind is disturbed.
Yes.
Right. So when our mind is disturbed, then how can we think that the mind will be engaged in Krishna service? So these kind of setbacks we often experience. So where Prabhupada is also saying that, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is also saying that your spiritual life will be challenged. It's not that 100% it's gone, but yeah, you will face a lot of challenges because the mind will be very disturbed after hearing the blasphemy of others. So better don't bring this topic to, especially when you know that somebody will be talking a verse to it. So don't bring this topic.
So
That's
Mataji,
the
my
best.
situation is like the family member, like I've told them nicely because they're like
Mm,
adult and
mm,
elderly to me,
mm,
not to bring it up because then
mm,
I will, either I'll put the phone down or I won't speak to them. but they continue they're so frustrated. I don't know, one way or the other, whenever I speak to them or when they call me, it comes like you're talking about something different, and soon enough it turns around, and somehow Krishna is there, Srila Prabhupada is there, and all of those things start. And I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to like tell them, like, please don't, I don't want to hear all this. I don't know like what to do.
Yes, Mataji,
It's
especially
like deliberately they do it.
deliberately they'll do it, and deliberately they'll try to bring these topics because they know that you get irritated with all this, so they want to irritate you. So I know with
Yes.
family members it's very, very difficult, easy said than done, where you cannot leave that place. You cannot fight back. You cannot do anything. The only thing is then just pray to Krishna. Krishna, maybe this is my karmic reaction, but I want you somehow to intervene and help me out so that I can get rid of all these things.
Thank you so
So
much,
this
Mataji.
can be the only solace, Mataji, definitely. But I know it's very hard, especially when it is coming from our close associate, close people, close relatives, close family members. It's very hard.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for explaining, and very, very grateful to you. An excellent class. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead. Vanita Gandharvika Mataji, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Mataji, thank you so much for the beautiful class. Very grateful to you, Mataji. Mataji, I did not know the Falgu Vairagya. I know the name. I know I heard it. What does it mean? I know everything. But I didn't know that river has a sand on top of it. And when you dig it, it is a water. Thank you so much, Mataji. It's very apt name for wrong renunciation or false renunciation. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for explaining. And class was very, very beautiful. Very grateful to you.
Thank you, Mataji. So they
And
are,
also, Mataji, I have a thought, like you were telling, like before kirtan means, as you brought up, like no dancing like that. But nowadays, even if not, it is not for Krishna, but if you see Ganesha and Durga, they do dandiya and all that, right? So, how does that came up? Like, I don't know how to put my question. It was like that before, but then slowly it has gone down, and this is all came up like that, or it was also there this kind of custom before.
I don't know whether it was there before because, or recently it started, because previously even those so-called brahmanas, because they were all smarta brahmanas, and their point was only to worship silently. That's how they're been brought up, and that's what they propagated. That do a silent puja, like a yogi sitting and meditating. But yeah, all this culture, especially you see in Maharashtra, where this Ganesh puja is done, or Navratri, especially these Navratris are going on, and they'll do all these dandiyas. They have been recently been done, and now, especially in this age, it has been spoiled. You know that this dandiya is no more dandiya for the pleasure of Durga Devi, or it is only some mundane Bollywood songs where the girls and boys they come together and do all that nonsense. And same here with Ganesha also. Yes, some they really do it wholeheartedly in a devotional attitude, but now everything has been diluted, Mataji. You know this, that it's no
Yeah,
more
yeah.
kind of showing reverence or our respect to the lordships, but it is just some drama thing going on. So till
Thank
the
you,
time
ma'am.
it is done only and only for the pleasure of Krishna, then everything is accepted. But if it is not, then it's all useless.
Haribol, very nice, Mataji. What a coincidence. Even Srimad Bhagavatam, we are learning about Kirtanam, that how Narada Muni was performing wrong way. That's how he came into the earthly planet and how he became like a maid servant son. Yeah, yeah, the same story we are seeing in the morning classes, and here also the same thing. The Kirtanam should supposed to only glorify Krishna, not to anybody else. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very grateful to you. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
भज भज हरि मन दृढ़ करी मुखे बोलो तारे नाम ब्रजेंद्र नंदन गोपी परण धन भुवन मोहन श्याम. That should be the mood, that it's only and only done for the pleasure of Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If there are no more questions or realizations, I would like to thank Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji for a valuable time in association this morning.
Oh, Haribol, thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very, very nice class. And I really liked the pastime of Subhuti Rai. And also, it was interesting. And I think these customs were still prevalent even till a few years ago, also, like in maybe our grandparents' time. So, thank you so much for bringing it out and telling us how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so magnanimous and so loving that he actually decided to do this Nagar Sankirtan right there for the mercy by giving, and by doing that, though he was showing his anger, everybody got benefited. So thank you so much. We are very grateful for your classes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Mahaprabhu
Krishna.
came only to establish this Nagar Sankirtan, to establish this Yuga Dharma. Yes, Yashovati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Such a wonderful, very, very nice class, and I am so awaiting when the Kazi will say, I am your uncle. I want to hear that
See, the
part.
Kazi also heard
Yeah,
Mahaprabhu's name. He heard Chaitanya Krishna's name. He was looking for
looking
Kirtan
for.
and how his heart will get transformed.
Yeah, very nice. I am eagerly waiting to hear that pastime by yours. Ma. I really love that.
Probably next week we'll see our Kazi is also converted and now he is also
Yeah.
surrendering to Mahaprabhu.
Hari
Yes,
Bol.
Mataji, Haribo. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji, so much for this very, very beautiful class, wonderful class, Mataji. And how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu want to give mercy to everyone by giving the, the crow, the anger. And he want to give the mercy to all Vaishnavas, all living entities so far.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Mataji.
Parima
Yes.
Mataji, please unmute yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you again for such a wonderful class. I can keep telling thank you consistently, Mataji, because you consistently give very good classes. So thank you so much, Mataji. I had this thing in my mind that this tradition, so called, that if you drink water from a different person or a different dharma, you will lose your caste. I mean, this was, I don't think this was ever a Vedic tradition.
Definitely
This,
not. Definitely not. That's what it is mentioned by Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. This is all concocted.
yeah, exactly. That was so
All
concocted, and
concocted.
it was under the name of Brahminical culture. It was
Mm.
so much propagated that actually made many Hindus to convert actually to Islam because they had no choice because they would not be accepted by Hindus.
Yes. So this is all concocted. This is all bogus.
Okay, that's what I thought because I was just thinking that how on earth can these Brahmins who have scriptural knowledge, it's like because those Brahmanas they really used to study scriptures at that time, at least 500 years ago, and how did they ever come up with this idea of that you'll lose your caste? It was definitely not from the scriptures.
Because they have given up themselves to these Qazis, to these Muslims people, because they were having authorities. So they gave up themselves just to be in favor of these people. They gave up their own Brahminical cultures.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
how.
I wanted to.
Go ahead, Mata.
Yeah, I wanted to add two perspectives. Yes, that is one perspective. They were also very weak-minded, and they were ready to give up their caste for something lower. Okay, they're given some benefit and they take over. But there is another perspective to this, which I also wanted to highlight. Speaking for the people who were in such a situation, is that, of course, it was not written in any Shastra, but the idea or the concept is when you accept food or you accept water or whatever, when you accept, even now, right, even in Vaishnavism also we talk about it. We don't accept something from somewhere else because it affects your consciousness. That is the understanding. So generally, Brahmanas, when they had to accept something from such downgraded people, it was the general understanding that you are lost all your consciousness and you're no more fit to be a Brahmin. I'm just talking from their point of view, how they saw things. Okay, I'm not supporting it, but I'm just giving you two perspectives. So it is considered very degrading. But of course, the ideal thing is what Mahaprabhu did is it's okay. There are 100 ways of purification. You chant the holy names and you get purified. In even few hundred years ago, even I wouldn't even say 100, 60, 70 years ago also it was the custom. But the method of purification was they would, clean up, make that person stand outside, clean them top to bottom, chant some mantras, purify them and bring them inside the house. So it happened to my grandmother. So that's why I'm saying, I'm giving you both perspectives. Because once my grandmother accepted something from a Muslim's house and it was the talk of the town and she was not allowed to enter the house. So they purified her top to bottom, chant mantras for Shuddhi, and then they allowed her to come inside. And she would never do it again. So I'm just giving perspectives that in a society, these things are possible. Yeah, that's all.
Mataji, but in this case, in the case of Subuddhi Rai, he was kind of forced to accept. It's not that he even
Of course,
accepted
it's a
on his
different,
own will.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a forced case, and that is nonsense. I totally get it. But I'm just throwing
Yeah,
different
that
ideas.
I understand. That what you said, that perspective also is really a very nice perspective, Mataji. But and because of that perspective, these Muslims would play foul.
Force, yeah.
They used to play foul,
Yeah.
and
And
then
even now they play foul. I mean,
yeah, even now
unfortunately.
they do. But before
Yeah.
that also they did.
Yeah. Now also that's what they do, right? In the name of marriage, they come and they take girls, and there's so much happening even today down
Yes,
south. There's a
yes,
lot happening. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Their
Thank you
lives
both
are
the
spoiled,
Matajis.
families are spoiled.
I know everything is spoiled, and sometimes they disguise themselves as Hindu guys, and they
Yeah,
marry.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both the Matajis once again. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranams.
Thank you, Mataji. See, now, after seeing all this, we can come to this conclusion that how beautiful is Mahaprabhu's movement. Under that umbrella, anyone can come and anyone can chant, and all the Malechas and all the people, they all can come, Chandalas and Malechas. We are all from that category only, and now we can come under that shade, under that umbrella, and we can chant holy name. Especially if you go to Vrindavan, there are so many, even the Westerners, they come, those who have the whole life they have done all that nonsense.
But Mataji, the foremost is Srila Prabhupada. He converted so many
Yes,
people.
of course.
God, I
So
mean,
it was the
nobody can
potency of,
even compare with him, honestly.
yeah, it's the potency of Srila Prabhupada only. But who empowered him?
Yeah.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered
Mahaprabhu.
him.
Yes.
So he is the Sena Bhakta of the Senapati Bhakta of this
Yes.
entire army. But see, the vision was, of course, Prabhupada gave us this vision, but this mission was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Jare
Yes.
dekh.
Sarikaho Krishna Upadesh. Thank you. That's
So
so nice,
the
Mataji.
more
Very nice.
we know about the drawbacks of Kali Yuga, the more we will appreciate the Sankirtan movement.
But Mataji, it's falling way more rapidly than
Yeah.
we can preach, honestly.
What else we can expect from Kali?
Yes, because what we had not heard of as children, now we are hearing as adults,
Yeah.
and we still don't know what other things we will hear before we die. So
Therefore, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj would say, wind up your business as soon as possible.
seriously, but then we also have a perspective that Haripasha Prabhu put that only if Krishna wants us there.
That's true.
We should not decide anymore.
That's true. Even if when only it will happen only when Krishna wants, that's for sure. But
Yeah, but
let's
then we
be
should not
serious.
desire also.
But let's be become serious first of all. Forget about that prema bhakti going home back to Godhead. But are we really serious in our Krishna consciousness? So that is the first basic step. And we should become sincere. We should become dedicated. We should become serious. Take this Krishna conscious as an urgency, especially in this age of Kali.
Yes.
Forget about prema bhakti. That prema bhakti will come later. But urgency should be there. The feeling of urgency. Yes, Praladananda.
Thank you, Mataji.
Dhanwad Pranam Mataji. Excellent discourse. That the last comment is Turnam Yatet Patet Nanumrutya. This is a Turnam Yatet, we have to take immediate action. Yeah,
very quickly. Turnam. Yeah, very
Turnam,
immediately.
before the next death comes. That's what the Bhagavatam says.
Yes.
Also, Bhagavan Krishna says, Manushanam Sahasritu Kaschidhyata. This is there. We are so fortunate we came under mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, staunch believers in atheism, in demigod worship, all these people have benefited just coming in contact with literature of Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
That's it. Kirarth Hunda Andar Pulin Pulkasa Abhir Samba Yavana Kasa.
All these
Papa. All this because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy. And that's it. And there's so many chal dharmas are going, especially I'm from the state of Gujarat. In Gujarat, there is this Swaminarayan thing is going on. Also becoming so and a lot of elite people of Gujarati community, they are getting into that trap. What I heard was that, they want to establish their Swaminarayan above Lord Sri Krishna. And so many people who were originally worshipers of Lord Sri Krishna, they are being influenced by them. So, it is our duty to protest against this. And I did that. I think I've told you this before also. Once I went to Chino Hill, I went to that Swaminarayan temple. And so, the people, our sincere effort should be to, spread the mission of Srila Prabhupada by distributing books. That's what I do. So that, subtly you can influence somebody who can take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and follow the right thing. Thank you very much, Mata.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prahladananda Prabhu. Thank you for your input. Yes, all these things are happening in the name of all, what did they say? We are Punjabis, we are Bengalis, we are Gujaratis. Mahaprabhu has already told Rupa Goswami, Sarva Padi Vinirmukta. Forget about all that designation. Just come onto the platform of being a human and then act like a human. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for your input.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If there are no more questions and realizations, I would like to thank Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji for her valuable time and association this morning. Thank you so much, Mataji, for a very, very beautiful class in such details and depth. You explained all the verses. Vandana Mataji, Harita Mataji, and Bhagashri Mataji are thanking you for a very beautiful class in the chat. And thank you for the beautiful question answer session. I would like to pay my obeisances to Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji and all the assembled devotees. To have your permission to close the call, Mataji? Caitanya Bhagavata की जय हर ग्रेस कीर्तिदा सुंदरी माता जी की जय
बस की जाए
Hari Bol, Mata Ji.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.